Hey everyone. Unfortunately, the EV price wars are heating up again with Ford announcing a massive price cut on the F-150 Lightning truck that will reduce the listing price on some trims by almost $10,000. So I'm going to highlight in this video why that's going to be bad news for Rivian, but it's also bad news for Ford and bad news for the industry overall, as I've been talking about for I think a little over 9 months now, that this price competition is not just bad news for the specific companies that are engaging in the price war, but it's bad news industry wide, and I'll go into more detail in that a little bit later in the video. First, let's look at the price cuts. So Ford, the company's most affordable Pro trim, is reduced from its previous MSRP of $60,000 down to $50,000. So this is nearly a 20% price cut on the most affordable option, the entry level option, arguably the one that's going to sell the most number of units. And the Platinum, the extended battery range dropped from 98 to 92,000, not as severe of a price cut on the higher end of the target. So as you probably know, Rivian also sells electric pickup trucks, and it's actually the pickup truck is the more popular selling model for Rivian right now as it's trying to ramp up production of the SUV. The SUV is on back order for Rivian. You have to wait several months to get it, but the pickup truck, you can get it at an earlier date. So this price cut, now when you're comparing the Ford F-150 to the Rivian R1T, the pickup truck, now you're like, okay, now the Ford is looking more affordable compared to the Rivian. So some consumers, now I know it's not an apples to apples comparison, but some consumers that are in the market for electric trucks, right? Electric pickup trucks. Those are the options, right? In the US, those are the two primary, one of the two most popular options. And they're going to look at it and say, I don't know, the Ford now looks more affordable. So they might choose it over the Rivian, and that's going to be bad news. Also, keep in mind there's that wild card. Tesla over the weekend started production of the Tesla pickup truck. So that's entering in the market as well. Was this move by Ford timed right when that Tesla pickup truck came out? You can say that played a factor. And how is Tesla going to respond to this news? How is Rivian going to respond to this news? Now, I've mentioned several times when one competitor announces a price cut, everyone else doesn't just sit still and say, oh, that sucks, woe is me, right? They don't do that. They respond. They go into their zone. They start making calculations. How should we respond? Should we what measure should our response be? Should we respond in kind with a price cut, or should we respond with a different kind of retaliation? Should we increase advertising? Should we maybe increase supply, right? There's many forms of competition, and most often when one company announces a price cut, it's an act of competition. It's a hostile act aimed to take market share, and so competitors do not take kindly to these kinds of moves. So keep an eye out. I would not be surprised if over the next few days or maybe in the next 2 weeks, rivals start making announcements, responses to this kind of move, so that they make it known to Ford, hey, we're not happy with this kind of move. We don't like that you're cutting prices to try and take market share. So we're going to maybe cut prices to respond to your price cut, right? And so overall, what that's going to do is just bring down gross profit margins industry wide, because Ford's going to make a price cut. Somebody else is going to come back with a price cut or increase in advertising or increase in supply. Whatever the case may be, the ultimate impact, the ultimate end game is going to bring down industry profit margins. It's going to be good for customers because when companies compete, it's good for customers. It's not good for companies, right? And we see Ford's gross profit margin already has been on the way down. Rivian's gross profit margin has been rising as it ramps up production because it's built to be producing 150,000 cars, and this year it's only going to produce 50,000. So it's got a lot of room to go. As it expands, it's going to reduce these losses in gross profit margin. But these kinds of moves by Ford are not going to help Rivian's cause. It's going to slow down its expansion, or it's going to force Rivian to announce price cuts of its own, which is also going to slow down the reduction of the gross profit losses. So overall, not good for the industry as the price wars heat up. Tesla has announced several rounds of price cut. Ford now with several rounds of price cuts, and others have also taken part. So this price war, I don't know how far it's going to go, but as long as it goes, regardless, now I'm not making any predictions on who's going to be the winner in this price war, but whoever comes out the winner is going to come out wounded. Is going to come out wounded. Nobody is going to come out of this in a better position than where they came into it. Okay, but that's all I've got for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/Parkev for the 10 best stocks to buy now.